Well, here's the thing. I was reading today. Tell me if you agree with this. I don't know if it was Twitter or Instagram, but they were saying it was DoorDash drivers or Uber Eats or whatever. And they were saying that it's not even close that rich people tip way worse than middle-class people.
Hmm.
And it's a thing everywhere. That like maybe the middle-class people know the struggle of those jobs more,
Yep.
but rich people tip terribly.
Okay, so a further extension of that, and it was part of the piece that you shared with me. I found this random group, the Big Push, and this guy named Ren, who's a singer and he's in a band. Loved it. And she read the article about him where he played homeless for a day, right?
But he loves the homeless as much as I do.
Yeah.
And he's a singer, and you could look him up.
It was great. I loved it. I watched this. He's a High Ren. If you find it on YouTube, High Ren. I watched 9 minutes of it. I was shaking. He's so good. Anyway, I wanted to bring that up because what I was going to say was they've done these videos and stuff where
he pretended to be homeless.
Yeah, he did. He did it for day. But people have done these videos, and what you'll see is homeless people. They're egoless, and they share. Like you imagine, like a homeless person goes to ask for a slice of pizza to people that are no, don't touch me, right? But they did these videos where they would, and you would see how people would act, and nobody would help the guy. They're like, ugh. But then, like, the homeless people would share with him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, because they get it.
Yeah,
and there's like one of the things he said in the piece that he wrote, which I liked, was like, because they're egoless at that point, it's like you feel like you can truly be yourself around them because they don't judge you. And one of the things I thought was super impactful is homeless people. One of the most sad things they live through is the feeling of being invisible. Like nobody even sees
Believe
they're
me,
there.
I know.
Yeah.
If you lived downtown Los Angeles where they are, you would understand that the way they're treated, it broke my heart every day.
Yeah.
People just step right over them.
Yeah.
And like they don't exist.
I remember years ago, I don't know, it was 2012. I tried to find I wrote so much. I was doing so much introspective writing because I was reading, whatever. I can't find the damn things. Maybe we can find them. But I was in Sydney, Australia, shooting a cameo in the movie Wolverine. Yeah. And it was supposed to be there for 3 days. I flew to Sydney for 3 days. But there was an argument with the set directors and the thing, and they had a big beef or whatever. So I was there 2 weeks. Okay. And I'm there. Taylor Kitsch was there. Hugh Jackman, who's super nice. He was like the friend. Will.i.am was on set with me or whatever. But I would always ride in with Taylor or whatever. But like I was alone. Like I wasn't friends with them. You know what I mean? I was just by myself. So I spent 2 weeks like alone in a room, and I would like walk around the city. And I was writing, like I said, and I remember probably more. I had more of a feeling of connection to the people that were homeless on the street than I ever had before. Like I saw them with a different lens. I saw and not that I'm lonely because I'm fine. You have the internet, whatever. But like I was alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I sort of, I guess, connected with them on a different way, and I wrote about it. And I hope I can find it because it's really good.
If you have conversations with homeless people, it'll change your life. The way the stories they can tell you, and just like you said, egoless. That's 100% true. And you talked to, how many people did you talk to? Just people on the street?
I don't remember how many I talked to, but like it was mostly just like just taking it all in, like walking around the city. I really enjoyed it. Like I wouldn't. It's not like akin to like being doing the Buddhist meditative thing. Where you go on a thing, but it was like that for me in a lot of ways.
Yeah, because you were walking around alone. You didn't know anybody.
With no phone.
Just taking it. Yeah.
I wasn't like on a phone. Oh, did I even have a phone? I probably had a phone. But
you definitely had a phone.
I wasn't on it. I was just like, soaking it all in. I would go walk around. I really enjoyed Sydney.
Yeah.
We went to Sydney too.
I loved it there.
As I was looking for the piece on Full Contact Poker, where I wrote a lot of the blogs.
You found a piece on us.
I found the one about, you and Parker and the birds.
And you were saying Parker, the friend who passed away, how she really hated birds. But she was also, like, you would think that she would be in shape the way she looked because she was skinny. You said, in the thing, you said she looked athletic. And I was like, she doesn't even look athletic at all. She looks like super skinny, modelly type.
Yeah.
Tiny skinny.
Yeah.
And everywhere we would walk, she would go, and be dragging the bag because she hated walking, hated exercise. And you were like, how does she get around?
Yeah.
She's so tired all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you wrote about us in Sydney. And
that was a fun trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. We
used to do crazy things.
Fun trips, fun things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the homeless thing gets me.
For sure. Yeah. But it's true. Like, anyway, I can't remember how this piece went, but it was like,
I don't remember this piece.
They would give a homeless guy, I'm going to try to find it because it was like, they'd give a homeless guy like a pizza.
Okay.
right? Somebody would give him a pizza or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then somebody else would
Mhm.
come by and be like, hey, can I have a slice of that pizza?
And he
And
would.
they would give him half the pizza.
Yeah.
You know, it's all they have is that.
That's
you know
it.
what I mean?
Because they know what that feels like to have nothing.
Yeah.
So
they share. It's like,
yeah.
it's crazy. But I mean, I'm sure that's not the case with all of them. There's probably some people that are, you know, selfish or whatever.
course.
But I think your level of empathy for others and you wanting to be seen and shared.
Skyrockets.
Like
downtown LA, I noticed that people
exactly
had the homeless, which really broke my heart when the homeless had dogs. There's like always a homeless person with a dog. And they always fed that dog before they fed themselves.
But they also, in this piece, I remember there was like, and the guy didn't look like really disheveled. He was homeless, but he didn't look like disgusting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was like, he would go in the food court or whatever. And people like, you know, they throw food out all the time. Right?
Mhm.
So people just, whatever they eat and then they throw the shit out. And he would like, can I have some of your French fries?
Mhm.
And they would be like, no, get away, like that. Really rude. It's like when you don't live in that world, and
I
you can't
can't
relate
imagine
to
it.
It's so much easier. Like he described it. He's like, some people just look at you with like either the sad eyes or the smile or like the ugh. Yeah, disgusting.
Yeah, the guy who was pretending to be homeless.
Yeah.
He did it to see how invisible people feel.
He that was a really well written piece. I'm glad you shared with me because he also talked about, he's like, listen, I'm doing this for a day.
And he's giving the money to the homeless people after.
But he said he's going to do it as authentically as he can. He brought like a little
brought a bag.
He made a sign, you know, and he said, I'm only going to eat whatever money people give me, whatever. But he said he felt the sun and all this stuff. But he's like, would I still feel this if I had to wake up to it every morning? You know what I mean? Like, does this, because it's a day for him. It's like, oh, it's a cool experience.
No, I don't think you would. I think
he knows he gets to go home to a warm bed and all that kind of stuff.
You wouldn't feel that.
Yeah.
After a while, you would feel defeated, I think.
Yeah. And then it's not a wonder that like you want to, like, if the monotony of being homeless without any sort of drugs or alcohol.
I mean, no way. Listen, imagine it. Like you have nothing going on. Everybody around you is fucked up.
Yeah.
And it just seems like if you have that tendency at all, it's easier to do it than not.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I told you what really like solidified how much I care for the homeless. And I don't know did I say it? Maybe I said it on this podcast, maybe not. But like when I had my Prius in LA and I had hit something and my front end was hanging down a little bit. It was dragging. And I was going to work every day and there was a homeless vet who lived out back, which should never fucking happen. Veterans homeless.
Of course, yeah.
He had no legs. No legs, in a wheelchair. And I talked to him every single day. I'd go out and talk to him before work and after work. And I came back out and he had gotten zip ties and zip tied my front end up where it wouldn't drag. And this is a guy in a wheelchair with no legs and no home. And he did that for me.
Again, it's like that egoless kindness and like sharing and all that. I remember I got in a fight with this girl. We were driving and I see a homeless person and I gave him $100.
Mm-hmm.
That's my go-to. I mean, I usually do.
You got me doing it. I know.
Yeah, I know. So I gave him 100 and then she scolded me for it.
What?
I'm not kidding. We got in a fight about it because it's like, you're not helping them. You know, they're just going to buy drugs and alcohol.
Fuck you.
And I said to myself, well, if I was that guy, man, would I want a beer or something? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, it's not my place to say, okay, then she went on to talk about how you can give this money to organizations who then do it properly and da 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 da.
It never
but
gets
that's not
to that
how I
person.
live my life.
Yeah.
That's not how I live my life either. The way that I do things is this. I'm confronted with a situation right now in this moment. Okay. If you want to get spiritual, like imagine this was God itself, homeless, imagine this was Jesus or whatever. And it's like, this is your test, right? This person is in need. You can help them. You can help them in a way that doesn't affect your life in any way, shape, or form negatively.
Yeah.
Us losing $100 on this is not going to have any effect on our life. Actually, that's not quite true. It has a very positive effect.
Right.
Because first of all, it feels good. And when I do it, I don't just give it to them. I talk to them.
You have to.
Where are you from?
Yeah.
You got a place to stay tonight? Well,
the only time I don't talk to them is if you're on the freeway and you got to go.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
You got to go.
Like the other day I was this guy was lazy. It's his own fault. This one. Like, buddy, there's one spot where they're usually there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm there, but I'm in the other lane, and it's like, you just sat there. I'm like, I'm not going to jump out of the car and miss the green. Like you need to do like the
But you're
walk
right.
thing.
It's good for you as well.
Of course. That's the thing about when people talk about selfless acts, okay? 99.9% of acts that people call selfless by definition are not. The only selfless act which isn't even selfless pure, is to give your life for somebody, right?
Mhm.
So to take a bullet for someone and die, because
Mhm.
now you literally don't get to reap benefits. But anytime you do something for somebody else, okay, it is not selfless because
Yeah.
you feel joy and happiness, period, right?
Mhm.
So you get something out of it. They both benefit. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I think there's a lot of people who mock or condemn people that like, share about a charitable donation. I don't care. Listen, if it made you feel good
Mhm.
to share that you gave
Then what
$5,000,
either
the
way you
fact is,
shared.
everybody benefited,
Mhm.
right? The people who got the 5,000 benefited. You get the benefit. Now I get it. Nobody wants to hear of. That reminds me of the Larry David episode.
I know.
This
He
was
wanted his name on the
fucking
wall.
Funny. For those that don't know, Curb Your Enthusiasm, one of the best shows ever,
Mhm.
comedy wise. Larry David donates anonymously, right, to this thing,
Yeah.
and then so does Ted Danson. But everyone's going, did you hear? Ted Danson gave it anonymously.
Yeah.
How beautiful.
I think they put his name on the wall.
And then
though.
Larry's like, the fuck? He's like,
Yeah.
it's not anonymous if everybody knows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's like, I want my name on the wall.
yeah,
He
yeah.
wanted it.
Larry did.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, I want my name on the wall.
But he was like, but then, Ted Danson was playing the virtue signal thing of like,
Yeah.
no, it's not about
He always
me.
did that.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
again, I remember years ago, many years ago, there was I can't remember what sort of, there was some sort of issue. Maybe it was Katrina, I think. And Card Player decided to donate and ask people to donate or whatever. And like,
Mhm.
they got flack for it. I'm like,
Why?
Because, they're benefiting from it. Because they're getting good PR. I'm like, so what? Listen,
But those people need help.
who cares? I'm like, yeah, I know they're benefiting and it's whatever. You can call it virtue signaling, whatever. We talk about virtue signaling right off the bat today with the stupid land acknowledgements.
Mhm.
But like, as far as giving, and also I would say this, there's another benefit sometimes to share what you're giving because it inspires others to do the same,
Mhm.
right? Like, if you want to help a specific thing,
Yeah.
and you share that I've done this, join me, do this as well. Like I raised a lot of money for St. Jude Children's Hospital.
Definitely a lot.
That was part of my like plan when I went to Choice Center, just to kind of come up with an idea.
But you've done it in general for them too. You've just given money every year. I think you just give money to them.
Yeah, but when we went through the course too,
Mhm.
like we raised $400K in a week
Yeah.
for them, and then we did the charity event, and that still goes on now.
Yeah.
Matt Stout and Charity Series of Poker took it over, but they do a good job with it, and yeah, like it. I mean, like that's the thing. The thing that's messed up about charities, though, it's kind of like, and I watched this person do a TED Talk, which makes a lot of sense. So to run a charity, let's say, everyone says, well, I want all the money to go to the charity.
Mhm.
The problem is that doesn't usually yield the most money for the charity.
Yeah.
So, for example, let's say I run a charity for dogs, okay? I'm
Mhm.
doing it by myself, okay? Maybe I raised, say, $10. It's like I don't have much of a network, right?
Okay.
What if I hire somebody, okay, pay them $25,000 a year? They do it as a full-time job, and they're good, and their network, and they bring in $100,000.
Uh-huh.
So of that $100,000, $25,000 goes to this person, $75,000 goes to the charity. Way more than I could have done, right? Because the thing is, if you want to run a really good charitable organization, you have to get CEOs and stuff that are potentially could make a lot of money in other areas,
Mhm.
right? But I get it. Like nobody likes the idea of giving $100 and 98 going to
Well, yeah,
transaction
but
fees.
some are really shady. So you have
Yeah.
to really watch out because some people don't get any of that money. And that's why I like what you said about the homeless person right in front of you. That can help them right now. They can get help right now.
And then the other argument she made was that you're just enabling them. Like
Man.
you think that me giving them the 100 is like, well, that means that there's another 3 days of them not getting off drugs.
You're
And,
right.
like it's not that easy. I don't know. I feel like
It's
I'd
not
say the
easy at
biggest
all.
thing that's missing with people that are not close to it, like you were when you're there, is just genuine, pure empathy.
Yes.
Like, doesn't have to make sense. It's like, it's so hard to be empathetic for something that you're not connected to.
Especially if you hear their stories and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, this could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
When they say, when they literally say some people are 2 months away from being homeless because rent and how high it is in LA.
Mhm.
Imagine. It
I
can
never,
happen.
ever encountered less empathy than when I did that podcast, when I flew out to do the podcast
I was
from
pissed.
that one guy.
I was pissed.
Just like, anybody who's anybody's homeless in 2 weeks, I don't care if they're on drugs or whatever, in 2 weeks they'll get clean. I'm like, 2 weeks? If you have this magic pill idea, buddy, okay, spread
I
it.
wanted to kick him in the teeth.
Good
It made
luck
no
with it.
sense.
Good luck with it. We didn't talk about the Finland Finnish thing, did we? I read a
What?
piece, the Finland, what they did in Finland. So on the homeless thing, because we talk about homeless a decent amount.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if we talked about this, but either way, it's really interesting, really cool. In Finland, they had a big homeless problem. And it's cold there. It's fucking dangerous,
Yeah.
right? They fixed their homeless problem. How did they fix their homeless problem? One of the problems with shelters in the United States or whatever else is there's a no tolerance policy.
Mhm.
Cannot be on drugs or alcohol. You get tested, whatever. You can't be in there.
You don't
right?
get tested. You just can't bring it
Okay,
in.
well, whatever. You can't be there. So
Yeah.
most of these people don't go because they're on drugs or alcohol.
You can come in high. You just can't bring your supply.
Okay. Well, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, some of them. So what Finland did was they, they created like there's an apartment complex. They put the people in there. They give them, government pays for it or whatever. The only rule is like it's not a no tolerance rule. What it is you're not allowed to do drugs or alcohol in any communal areas at all.
Mhm.
So if you're in your own apartment, you're doing whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
That is the fact that you have an apartment and a place to sleep so here's the thing. You take somebody at zero on the street, homeless, doing drugs and alcohol. Okay.
Yep.
So the path from here to here is really hard.
It's
now,
like impossible.
So now you say, okay, let's put them to here. Still on drugs and alcohol, but they have a bed and they have a shower.
Yes.
They have a shower. One of the guys mentioned, he says, I showered 8 times a day because it just felt so good to be in there. Right.
Yeah.
So now, okay, so they're still on drugs and alcohol up to here, but they have a bed.
Mhm.
The chance of them getting here because they got here, much higher than here.
It's crazy higher.
Yeah. There's a little bit of self-worth.
Housing is the biggest thing you need.
There's a self-worth situation. And the truth is, and listen, we're not getting political about it, but we can afford it. We can absolutely afford it.
Duh.
With the amount of money that's spent on some truly dumbass shit.
Yeah.
Like you said, it is a disgrace for any country to have war veterans in wheelchairs with no legs on Skid Row. That is a failure beyond anything else you can do. What is like
It's
the government's
it was
purpose?
the saddest thing I've ever seen.
If the government doesn't take care of those people, then what are they doing exactly?
He was so kind.
He was, yeah.
Mhm.